guys, welcome back to another morning English podcast. You know who it is, it's Day.
Hey, 大家好，我是木木，欢迎大家收听今天的早安英文。
Hello, welcome to Morning English. 早安英文呢是一个为大家免费提供英语教学的频道，每天都会更新。如果你想获得关于英语听说读写的内容，我们都会在这个频道更新。我们的目标是帮助全球的华人学好英语。如果你觉得还不错的话，记得给我们订阅哦。另外，点开小铃铛，这样的话就不会错过其他任何学习视频啦。对了，如果你想获取本节课的完整版笔记，在视频简介或者评论区领取哦。你也可以给这个视频点赞，点赞就相当于自动保存啦。
You know, I had a problem with my friend today. I mean, this guy. I said, it's high time to talk about our situation.
How can you have a problem if you are high? Isn't high another word for fun?
Not really. I mean, in this context, it doesn't mean fun. It means something else.
没错，其实呢 it's high time to do something or for doing something 指的是正式做什么的时候。所以今天的节目要和 Day 呢聊一聊有关时间 time 的一些表达。
When I said it's high time to talk about a situation, high time in this context mean, you know, it is the right time to do something, or it is the appropriate time to do something, or the appropriate time to do something has passed already.
没错，就像我刚刚讲的这个 it's high time to do something 并不是说是很嗨的一个时间做什么事情，而是说正式做什么事情的时候。比如说It is the high time for taking my study seriously. 就对我来说呢，现在是好好学习的时间。还有一个用法呢，就是什么什么时间已经错过了，错过什么的最佳时机。比如说 The high time has passed already for apologizing. 就是你已经错过了道歉的最佳时机。
Well, today we aren't only talking about the phrase high time. We are talking about idioms that contain the word time.
没错，那接下来分享一些非常有用的和 time 有关的表达。第一个就是 third time's the charm.
Oh, this phrase.
Well, have you ever done something and it didn't work the first time? And then you try it again and didn't work.
Yeah.
And then the third time it finally works.
Yay.
就是做某件事情的第一次失败，第二次又失败，第三次成功了。所以
You guys have this in Chinese, right? Do you guys have an idiom like this in Chinese?
I have no idea.
All right, moving on.
所以这个表达就是要鼓励大家要多去尝试。
比如说 I had to ask her 3 times before she said yes. Well, you know, third time's the charm.
对，就是刚刚 Daisy 说的这个句子，就是我要问他3次，他才同意。原来第3次才是最佳的时机。我想到中文的一个表达就是事不过三。I think it's just like the same meaning of it.
All right, number 3, or moving on to the next phrase or idiom, in the nick of time. You know, it means at the last possible moment, or just before it's too late.
对对对，就是正好在什么时间啊，这个正好赶上了什么什么事情。比如说 I made it to the meeting in the nick of time. 就是我在最后关头啊赶上了这次会议，所以就是正好抓住了时间。
I wrote the last question on my exam in the nick of time, or something like that. I made it to my own wedding at the nick of time, or in the nick of time.
In the nick of time 就是你赶上了。第4个和 time 有关的表达呢，叫做 behind the times. Have you ever seen something old and went like, hey, this shouldn't be here in 2019? Then you would say this.
Yeah.
就是形容某件东西啊，或者某个事情非常的落伍，你不敢相信在这个年代还可以看到这个东西，你就可以用这个表达 behind the times.
Yeah, like, yeah, if you've suddenly seen a phone that you've seen like in the 2000s or the 1990s, you'd be like, hey, that phone is such behind the times.
You know nothing's vantage phone.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, there is like a lot of old stuff you see these days and you're like, oh, that's so behind the time. Yeah, I'm pointing. I'm being like acting.
对，非常的入戏。他指着空气说：“你这个真的是落伍了。”在表演啊，比如说一个人手里拿着一个非常旧的手机，你就可以说 That phone is such behind the times. 你这手机简直是落伍了，都没有人在用了。
Or if you guys want to be like rude and evil like me, you can just go to a person, like a normal person, like your friend, and be like, "Hey, you're so old. You're such behind the times, man."
You are too bold.
Yeah, I'm too mean. Okay, moving on. This next phrase isn't an actual idiom, but it's a really, really useful phrase.
Yeah.
You're going to hear this a lot in native speaking. It's by the time. It's not B-U-I, it's by the time.
By the time.
Yeah, this is always used in reference to something else that already happened. Let me give you guys an example. By the time the storm had finished, he had already left.
这个句子呢，大家参加高考啊，或者是这个中学应该也会有这个积累过这个表达，就是当什么什么的时候，就是他们离开的时候呢，这个暴风雪已经停了。You can make another sentence. Like, by the time they got back home, the thief had already stolen everything.
Yeah.
就他们一回家的时候发现啊，家里的东西已经被偷了。
But as we said, by the time, or this phrase isn't an actual idiom, but it's a really, really, really useful phrase. Now, let's move on to the next idiom, Mumu. What is it?
这个呢，就是 hardly have time to breathe. So exaggerate. This is another useful phrase which describes someone who is very busy, so busy that they cannot take a breath.
Good.
就是忙到不能呼吸，太忙了，都没有时间去呼吸了。
And if you're very dramatic and if you can't say, hey, I'm very busy, you can be like, oh my god, this job is so busy. Oh, I hardly have time to breathe.
对，就是如果你是一个比较戏精的人，就可以说这个工作太忙了，我忙到无法呼吸了。I hardly have time to breathe.
Exactly.
Breathe.
Now moving on to the next idiom, time bomb or ticking time bomb. Now let's say you have something that's always gonna have like accumulating problems inside of it. It's always collecting problems. Something is always collecting, and after it collects for a long time, it's gonna bring out the negative effects. Like, let's say the house leaking heavily every day is a ticking time bomb.
这个 ticking time bomb 就是定时炸弹。那刚刚对照的这个句子就是啊，你看看 that house leaking heavily every day， 这个房子每天都在漏水，那这一定是个定时炸弹，总有一天会出问题的。It's a really useful one.
It is.
Okay, the last one, in next to no time.
Exactly.
If you work in a restaurant or cafe or something like that, and a customer asks how long will it take to make that blah blah blah, then you can just say next to no time.
Exactly. Now, it basically means it will be out immediately. This thing that you're looking for would be out immediately, or something immediate. Or it can be translated in my mind, because my Chinese sucks, to 马上到。
没错。
I think so.
Hello, welcome to Morning English. 早安英文呢是一个为大家免费提供英语教学的频道，每天都会更新。如果你想获得关于英语听说读写的内容，我们都会在这个频道更新。我们的目标是帮助全球的华人学好英语。如果你觉得还不错的话，记得给我们订阅哦。另外，点开小铃铛，这样的话就不会错过其他任何学习视频啦。对了，如果你想获取本节课的完整版笔记，在视频简介或者评论区领取哦。你也可以给这个视频点赞，点赞就相当于自动保存啦。
我是木木，
我是 Day，
我们下期见啦，
拜拜。